Hey guys, welcome to your monthly astrology report for this month of June 2022. And I'm your astrologer, Alexandra Irving, with Chasing the Bagua. This is going to be a very powerful time, very powerful month of change, of advancement, of realizing our potential as individuals. And I think there's going to be some serious phases that we go through both individually and collectively as we go through the month of June. And some of these can be a little tough, I would say, as we near, mid-month, and we get to that full moon, that Sagittarius full moon. This is going to be big. It's going to put a lot of perspective on the world beliefs as well. So, hold tight and use this energy, use the beginning of the month wisely to enhance yourself and your understanding of your day-to-day environment, how you're dealing with information, as well as the people in your life. We start off this month within this lunation cycle, this Gemini new moon, which was actually exact on the 30th. This is at 9 degrees, and it is a very beneficial new moon. Of course, you can check out my video on this new moon on Instagram. I unfortunately didn't have time to do that here on YouTube, but anyway. Really quickly, this new moon that we're going to be in this phase until that Sagittarius full moon on the 14th is really going to fine tune our creativity and the beauty in our lives. This is at 9 degrees of Gemini, which is very much to do with action. I would say, it has to do with us really going forward and kind of changing up our logic, our awareness of, again, the day-to-day life that we have. This is going to also, of course, make the strategy within cities start changing as well. And especially, as we come into that first quarter square that is on the 7th in Virgo. But before we have that first quarter square, we're gonna, I would say, take it a little easy and fresh and light. And so, the first week of June is very much, to really enhance our ideas, enhance our mindset about ourselves, about our future, and what we maybe have control over, or how we are approaching this. I think the month of June is really a lot about these new ideas. Gemini is mutable air. I don't know why I'm saying fixed, but it's mutable air. So there's going to be a lot of change, a lot of fresh ideas. And remember, Mercury is coming direct on the 3rd. So this is the ruler of Gemini, of this new moon. As we set this tone, Mercury is retrograde during this new moon. So there is a lot of internalization about what we can do individually, and that belief about ourselves. And I think, again, this is a lot to do with the month of June, is that belief in ourselves and how we can kind of create new movement, new fresh ideas, fresh perspectives, and also fresh friendships as well, and advancing our businesses and our ideas and things like that. So we have Mercury that comes direct on the 3rd, and it's going to be in shadow until the 18th. So there's going to be some change in the beginning of June, and we do have Saturn coming retrograde the day after on the 4th of June. So these energies, these planets are actually in square to each other, right? So this can make a tension in the cities. This, I would say, is probably one of the most jarring aspects for ourselves. You know, Saturn represents restrictions. Mercury represents, amongst other things, but Mercury represents our information as well. So one thing about this is censorship, you know, the actions of censorship. And I think, you know, June may be a time of realizing this, of also being maybe disillusioned by censorship as well, because by the end of the month, we're getting that sun in square to Neptune. And, you know, this is going to also be present during that Sagittarius full moon. So we have to be very careful of our beliefs and how we're looking at the world at large with this energy. And I think there's going to be some complex ideas that are being generated through social media and things like that, especially because, you know, Mars and Jupiter are in that conjunction as we start off the month, and that is in the 11th house from the sun. So 11th house is social networks, right? So there's going to be a lot pumped through that maybe raises aggravations through social media. So just be aware of how you're connecting online and how that is also, you know, correlating with your mindset, right? This is Gemini season, and Mercury is going to be in shadow again, you know, till the 18th. And so things are going to start moving forward and start making more sense for ourselves individually, and then also on the world scale. This is a big year for finances, and, you know, I think by the end of June, we're really going to start seeing some of these changes really happen as well. Some kind of follow through with government, with structures and things like that. Because again, remember, Saturn is retrograding, and it comes direct on October 23rd, right before that next set of eclipses that start at the end of the year. So this Saturn retrograde is going to, you know, be big for the collective. It is in square to that Mercury retrograde, which is in Venus ruled sign, in Taurus, which is a Venus ruled sign. So again, finances, love, for ourselves personally, we're going to have to be maybe changing our ideas of love, or how we're getting money, how we are investing, our awareness, our attention, and our finances as well. We're going to be making big changes, I would say, this month. On the 7th, again, we do have that first quarter square, and this is at 16 degrees of Virgo, which is ruled by ruled by Mercury. And again, Mercury is still going to be in its shadow phase. So yes, you know, it has that slow, subtle movement, but we're still going to be internalizing this. And I think there's going to be some changes the first week of June, especially with this health crisis, as we have, you know, Mars in its own home. So it's really strong. And that is in a quincunx to this first quarter square. Virgo, again, has to do with health. It has to do with purification. So for ourselves, you know, we may find ourselves having to bring in new health routines, just to keep up with the hustle and bustle. And maybe one of these things is kind of getting off social media, because there is going to be a lot of information that's splayed for us, and this can kind of trigger our anxieties. I think June can be a month, if we're not careful, if we're not taking care of our our sleep, if we're not taking care of our health, then we may have anxieties, and we may see this anxiety that's coming on through the world, through, again, social media and stuff. But this first quarter square, 16 degrees, that's a 7. There's going to be this new kind of plateau when it comes to health, in like the world scenario. So don't be surprised if there's kind of some things that change up with that first week. And again, we're coming into that full moon after on the 14th, and this is in Sagittarius. So, 23 degrees of Sagittarius, that full moon is going to really bring awareness again to the world beliefs, and these are going to be tense. It's in a T-square to Neptune. So yeah, all things are not going to be like clear cut, and we can be swayed into some interesting places if we're not careful, if we're not being mindful of how we view ourselves, the integrity that we have, and the kind of transformation that we have been uplifted to in the past lunation cycle. Because remember, we're coming out of eclipse season strong, and with this Gemini season, like, I would say it is time to really be adaptable, to bring that understanding, but also that courage to ourselves and what's motivating ourselves to kind of grow, to have luck and opportunity and community. And these things are going to, I think, be accentuated as we go through this month of June. And, even like colleges, things like this, Sagittarius does rule law, it rules belief system, it rules higher education. So there could be some things that are coming out through school systems and things like that. And again, because it is in a T-square to Neptune, there is going to be some confusion. And I would say, if you're making investments and stuff in June, like, be mindful, take some time. Things are going to be unexpected, especially as we're going to have, Venus conjunct Uranus as well on the 11th, right? So there's going to be some heightened energy, some uncertainty with finances, and with that full moon in square to Neptune, with Mercury still in shadow, we do have to make extra certain about what we're investing, because things can kind of go haywire. It could go a good way as well. Venus is very unexpected. I think mid-month there could be changes in our perspective, drastic changes with relationships, because maybe people have different viewpoints and things like that. So moving on, we get Mercury out of shadow, that happens on June 18th. And so things, after this full moon, this mid-month is going to really be putting on the pressure. So, take it easy as much as you can until we get up to mid-month, because things are going to start getting heightened, hectic, and the world at large, I think, is going to start getting some types of stressors, and also some confusion through information. So just be careful of your integrity, that self-awareness, because one of the positive things that we are having this month is that Jupiter in sextile to Mercury. So yes, we've had this energy through the end of April. But Mercury then retrograded. So there's been this like assimilation of our self-beliefs, our individual beliefs, our integrity, and where we're putting our energy. So, I think this is a big month to wake up to our calling and, to see the greater vision of our lives in a different view. So, and I think there are going to be some struggles that come up, of course, especially as we get to the third week of June. Full moon, we got, the Sagittarius full moon, we have Venus square to Saturn, which is not going to be an easy transit, right? Because Saturn retrogrades on the 4th. So, it's pretty strong. And this is happening at 25 degrees, 5 seconds of Aquarius and of Taurus. So Venus and Saturn here are in their own home. So they're both strong, they're both contending, and this can make some financial things really askewed, some tension through, especially like people, lower class citizens, inflation. This is going to be an interesting time, and there could be confusion, there could be some kind of hysteria, things that come up as well. So be careful of what you're tuning yourself to. This is happening when Venus is conjunct Argol, the demon star, the one like demon star in, the Arabic fixed stars. And this is where that lunar eclipse was. So like be prepared to maybe be tested by things that we have become certain that no longer hold value in our lives. A lot of things are going to be changing for ourselves and the world at large. So again, it's like holding that integrity and letting the sudden changes happen, being able to get ourselves out of, these types of karmic ruts, karmic patterns. So don't be surprised if, there are some tests that come, and, having clarity. I don't think this is like a good month to be just, throwing like caution to the wind or whatever, and just like being intoxicated. Argol is related to alcohol as well. And with Neptune in square to that full moon, like this can again be like a monsoon of intoxicating dilemmas. And also, like we have to be sure there's going to be a lot that is compounded through social media, through hesitation of other people's beliefs. And with Jupiter and Mars here in Aries, there is a lot about our personal, our individual self and the divine knowledge within self-understanding. That is Jupiter in Aries, that self-reflection. And remember, it's in a positive aspect to the new moon. So all month, it's like, re-identifying, re-examining ourselves in this new type of light, so that we can really stay committed, have logic, and this kind of new story that we're opening up to. So, summer solstice, we get the sun ingress into Cancer. This happens on the 21st. And this is going to be an interesting Cancer season. So like make the changes necessary because, with the end of June, we have Jupiter in square to the sun. Sorry. And yeah, Jupiter in square to the sun. This happens on the 28th of June, but we're going to be in this influence, especially throughout that last week. And Jupiter is a benefic, right? The sun there is our consciousness. We can, maybe be in a place of lack of belief, and we really don't want to identify with that. That can be kind of pushed through, again, social media. This can be pushed through the limitations that are coming with how we're managing, our lives, our joy, the things, our entertainment, right? Because remember that Saturn square Mercury, that when Mercury comes direct in the beginning of the month, this is also setting a tone for how we're going to go forward collectively, and also with our own discernment for the future. And that's a heavy caseload, I would say, with Mercury in conjunction to the North Node. Even when this is happening, we have to be mindful of where we're putting our attention for the things that we enjoy, for even love and pleasure. Where are we getting these things? Jupiter in Aries wants us to go and have that knowledge seek knowledge within ourselves. So there is this redefining of relationships, of love, of money, of course, which is a big thing that's happening 2020. And with all those kind of, the House of Cards kind of toppling over through this year. And I think as we go through the end of June, we're going to start kind of feeling that pressure, seeing it through humanity, especially as we get that sun ingress into Cancer. We're going to be dealing with house situations. We're going to be dealing with home life, homeland security. We're going to be dealing with how secure we are feeling, and it's going to be tense. And the world around us, maybe some people aren't going to have that stride, have that belief. So, be mindful of, again, how you're using this Gemini new moon energy, this lunation cycle, to set your mind in a way of strength, of perseverance as well. Because remember that new moon that happened on May 30th, this was conjunct Aldebaran, which is joined and associated with Archangel Michael. So there is a lot about breaking through ignorance and dispelling the darkness, and going beyond these limitations that is kind of pressed through negativity. So it is really, I think, this month a time to free ourselves. And yes, there are going to be these, I call it, mental potholes, especially this month that we can get into. And as we navigate this month, we're going to be tested, I would say, as well. Venus, of course, does enter the sign of Gemini on the 22nd, which is going to, I think, bring some more realizations to how cities are prepared with these financial changes, and we're going to probably see, some changes again with inflation as well. But I will do my best on bringing up something on Instagram with this Venus cycle as well, and talk more about this Sun square Jupiter as well at the end of the month, because this is going to be huge for us, really changing our gears into our own story, changing the gears in how we are relating with life and the journey that we are now in. So it's going to be a wild month, I would say, a freeing month, a light month, and there is filled, I think, with opportunities. And I would say, it's going to start light and probably end heavy in some ways. So do get prepared again with taking care of your health, with taking care of your mindset, and taking care of, the people that are in your life that are in the same kind of mindset that you are. It's a very important time to be connected, I would say, and to generate luck and expansion through our connections as well. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate all your support always. Do check out my work on Instagram. You can follow Chasing Bagua on Instagram. I've been doing my weekly all signs horoscopes there, but I do believe I'm going to start putting that here on the YouTube. Tell your friends, leave a like, comment, all that stuff. Yeah, I got a lot more on the way. It has been quite a ride with that lunar eclipse. Like, it took a lot out of me. And if you have been following my work, I was doing a daily podcast for quite a while, and I'm cutting the cord on that so I can deepen my content on the platforms that are best serving me. So again, I appreciate all your support, and I will see you soon.